Plugzio's focus is on cordless private charging. Cordless doesn't mean wireless charging. That's too complicated. It didn't even work for our phones, let alone our electric vehicles. Cordless means the actual charger doesn't need to have a cable attached to it. Drivers can bring their own charging cords. I'll tell you why this is very important. But before that, it's important to note that every electric vehicle gets delivered with a charging cable that can be plugged into an outlet. Just like a mobile phone or a laptop. This is the Tesla charging cable that I got when I bought my vehicle. It can be plugged into a regular outlet and it gets delivered with every vehicle that you purchase. So having a charger that has a built-in cable attached to it is nothing but an unnecessary cost to the property. Now, why is this important? Because the number one point of failure in EV chargers is the freaking cable. This cable right here. If the activation pin stops working for whatever reason, your charger turns into a brick. But if someone drives over this cable, that's a safety risk, and often the entire charger needs to be replaced. A property manager once called me and said when people bring their own charging cords, they care for them. But if the property provides the cables, they just throw it on the ground and they expect the property to maintain it for them. In addition to saving costs on maintenance, the charging cable standard is changing. So if you invest in installing several chargers with the J1772 port, which is the norm nowadays, eventually you have to replace them with the NAC standard, which is the Tesla standard. Or you have to buy an adapter that make these two compatible. And that's just a waste. You as the property manager should not be in the business of managing charging cables for your residents, as if you don't have enough on your plate already. Having cables attached to chargers is a North American redundancy. Everywhere else around the world, they don't have chargers that have built-in cables. The norm is for the driver to bring their own charging cords and plug into the charger. That's why Plugzio focuses on cordless charging. It guarantees major cost savings and much less frustrations for you down the road. But there's a problem. If your residents bring their charging cables and plug in into the outlets in the garage, the cost of electricity goes to the property and not the driver. And whether you know it or not, this is already happening in your property. And that's where Plugzio products can help you. We started with a simple consumption monitored outlet. This outlet replaces existing outlets in your garage, and the way it works is simple. By default, there is no power flowing through the device. It's off. If someone wants to access power, they have to scan this QR code and agree to the rates that you as the property manager or owner have set for usage. And then the electricity starts flowing. So Plugzio is essentially a vending machine for power. You want power? Pay for it. Now, you may be thinking, isn't that slow charging? Yes, it is. If your property has enough power available, then we do offer faster chargers as well. We cover the whole spectrum of EV charging. But it's important here to note that electric vehicles only have to recharge what they have used during the day, not the entire battery. As studies show, 94% of your residents will be fully charged on a simple 120 volt outlet. Now, having said that, if you have enough power and budget available, you have the choice to go with our Plugzio Can Do charger, which is our level 2 charger, and it's the most powerful charger we can offer you. This charger has a cable attached to it, ouch, I know, and can offer up to 35 miles per hour of charge. It also has load balancing, load management, scheduling, time of use pricing, all the fancy software features that you've probably heard before. Every property has two main constraints. Number one is power, number two is budget. Let's assume you have unlimited budget, or we manage to find you some government funding to keep the cost of the installation low. But still your property is built with limited amount of power that must be evenly shared between your residents. Bringing more power to a property is the most expensive and time-consuming part of any installation, because you have to get the utility involved. The biggest mistake I see properties make is to install a few fast chargers and have residents share them. Because as soon as the number of EV owners in your property goes above the number of chargers, there will be chaos. It's like trying to share a tablet between 3 kids. You have to enforce time limits, create penalties, and it becomes a management nightmare. Every technology that we often take for granted every day used to be a shared luxury at one point. Our phones. I still remember having to stand in line to get access to a shared phone booth so I can call my parents. But now we all have our private phones in our pockets that we are reluctant to share with anyone. Technologies always start as being shared, communal, and then move on to being private and personal. This is where the EV charging industry is going as well. Future-proofing your EV charging infrastructure simply means being able to offer private, personal chargers to every EV owner in your community. This is why Plugzio's second focus is on private charging. Your residents don't want to come down in their pajamas at 2 a.m. to move their cars so somebody else can plug in. Nor should they be worried whether there's a charger available for them when they get back home. Expecting your residents to share chargers is a disservice to them. If a potential tenant is faced with 2 choices between a property that has a few shared but fast chargers and a property that offers private but slow charging, 99% of the cases the private charger is the ultimate choice. This is exactly like offering a tenant a choice between a shared laundry room and a private laundry machine in their units. Since our products cover the entire spectrum of EV charging, all the way from slow overnight chargers to super fast transient chargers, you always have the option to choose what's best for your specific property. Now, over the last 5 years, after thousands of installations, we noticed that clients often want a product that is cordless, but offers more power than a regular 120 volt outlet. That's why we created Plugzio Universal. Plugzio Universal is a control box that goes in line with any device that you want to monitor, manage, and or monetize. You can install a 240 volt outlet in line with this, which can offer you 15 miles per hour of charge, more than enough for 99% of your EV owners. Or with Plugzio Universal, you can actually install the universal device in line with a dumb charger to make it smart and connected. So in case you have a series of dumb outlets or a series of dumb chargers that you want to make smart or you want to start monetizing, Plugzio Universal is the most modular device to make that possible. In the EV charging landscape, there is no one size fits all. The best installations I have seen are the ones that provide fast chargers for visitor spaces and a series of outlets for private assigned spaces. So residents have a private outlet they can rely on anytime they get home, and for those occasional needs or for your marketing pamphlets, there's always a faster charger available at a shared communal space. At Plugzio, we understand that every property is different, and that's why we offer a 4-step process to make your property EV ready. Step 1 is site assessment. This is where we use electricians to come to your site to figure out how much power is available at your property. Based on that, we go to step 2, where we provide you with an installation proposal. The proposal is a turnkey solution that has several options available for you to choose from. It also includes government incentives available for you for each of those options. Step 3 is the installation itself, and step 4 is onboarding, where we help you set usage policies, set usage rates, so your residents can start using the chargers immediately after the installation. Plugzio is the path of least resistance when it comes to charging. Join us in our journey and let's make charging simple.